Hello, and welcome to a special bonus edition of Some Like It Pop, special Gilmore Girls edition. It's just me, Samantha Vincenty, managing editor,
and Ali Szubiak, associate editor of Pop Crush.
Big Gilmore Girls fans.
Huge.
And so, as anyone who remotely cares knows, the Gilmore Girls are returning for a 4 TV movie, streaming movie supplement called A Year in the Life.
The worst title.
Yeah,
possible.
I preferred, I think it was tentatively seasons.
It was, which would have been so much better.
Yeah. But, we'll take more Gil Girls any way we can get it.
Yep.
And so my first question for you, Ali, is I want to situate our fandom. Did you watch the show in its original WB run?
I did. My mom and I watched it every week.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure we saw it from the very first episode when it first debuted.
What made you, did you see it because you were like, that's a mother and daughter? And then...
No, it was more like my mom was my only friend.
Aww.
So we kind of just did everything together. I'm really close with her. And it looked good. So we were
you related in some ways,
yeah.
too.
I related in so many ways, except my mom is super responsible. That's like the difference in general.
Yeah.
She's not really... she's my friend, but she's my mom first kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's the opposite with Gilmore Girls.
It is definitely the opposite. I did not watch it in its original run. Or I started, I think, in season 6, which I know Gilmore Girls purists will hiss at that. But I actually didn't.
You started watching during season 6?
Yeah.
That is so late.
Here's what happened. I didn't care for Lauren Graham's cadence nor Lorelai's character when I would happen to catch it on TV. And then, so I guess it would be 2007 or something. I had a major breakup and I moved out of the apartment I had with my boyfriend, moved in with a friend, got very drunk that first weekend on tequila, had a very bad sadness hangover the next day. And my roommate, who loved the Gilmore Girls, was like, I'm just going to leave this right here, and pressed play on season 2 and left.
On season 2?
Yeah.
So she didn't even start at the beginning?
No. But then I went back and started from the beginning after that. But it's just I was a literal captive audience, and it completely...
So you were unable to move.
I was unable to move, and it completely latched on after episode 3. And I went to high school in a very small Connecticut town, similar to Stars Hollow. It was just me and my mom. We were not like Lorelai and Rory. It was like the Gilmore Girls. We hung out a lot, again, because there weren't many people to hang out with, but a lot more screaming fights, but still mother-daughter, single mother-daughter. I even had a really good friend with the last name Nardini.
Ooh.
Like Luke's terrible daughter.
She's the worst character.
And my friend was not terrible. She was lovely. And so I did relate to it in some ways, in some certain ways. I found it relatable. And then I obviously watched it to completion, although I actually don't think I ever watched the final episode because I was so angry about the penultimate episode.
Well, the entire last season.
Right. Again, as Gilmore Girls purists know, in season 7, the showrunners and creators, Amy Sherman Palladino and her husband, Daniel Palladino, left, and a new showrunner came in.
And ruined the entire show.
And everyone got out of character, acted out of character. Lane really got the short end of the deal.
Oh man, they just...
That was the biggest tragedy of all, I felt.
It really was.
But anyway, we're here to focus on the future. but we're not.
No, we're here to focus on the past.
We're actually, what we're talking about today is we decided we wanted to rank the men in Rory and Lorelai Gilmore's lives. Today we are focusing on Rory because...
There are way less.
Way less. We don't have 5 hours right now. We will probably get to Lorelai, but so many.
Yay!
Although, wait, who is your favorite love interest of Lorelai's?
That's really hard. I'm trying to remember all of them at once. I like Luke for her. I understand not liking him, but I think Max was my favorite.
Yeah.
I still don't understand how that fell apart. It's just the saddest thing.
I think she just wasn't that into it.
She was until she wasn't, which I guess is the case for all relationships.
I feel like Max is the Aidan of Gilmore Girls.
Oh, he is. Yeah. That's a really good parallel.
Everyone wanted Carrie on Sex and the City to be with Aidan, but she was with stupid Mr. Big, and no one liked it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess because we're ranking, I want us to say at the count of 3 who our least favorite of 3. And we're going to just focus on the 3 major ones. We will probably have sidebars about the smaller little blip things like a Marty.
Oh, Marty.
But
the original nice guy.
On the count of 3, I want us both to say our least favorite boyfriend of Rory's.
Okay, that's easy. I think we agree.
I know. 1, 2, 3.
Dean.
Dean. Yeah,
Ugh,
no question.
Dean, the worst.
Floppy puppy Dean. I do think, I think Lorelai didn't like him at first, but then soon was like, he's actually the perfect starter boyfriend because he was so
She
harmless.
even says that at one point. She says, "You're the best first boyfriend."
Yeah, which is really undermining. It's like being like, congratulations on your first marriage. But yeah, he just wasn't, he was a townie and he held her down. I feel like he's a sandbag.
Also, just the way that they wrote him, I feel like at first he was supposed to be the smart character who came in and he read and everything. And then all of a sudden he was illiterate by like episode 5.
Oh, I don't remember when he read
Yeah,
books.
remember he came in with like this really ill-fitting leather jacket that was supposed to be cool. And he was like the cool, like smart, tough guy. And he was new in town. And Rory was like, "Oh, wow, I dropped my books in front of you. Oh my God, I'm so in love with you." And then
I totally don't remember this time where he sounds like Jess.
Really? Well, yeah, he was like the original Jess, but not as good.
Okay.
Maybe I'm misremembering, but I'm pretty sure he was supposed to be like that. And then the writers just butchered his character.
Yeah, I just feel like, and I do think at first he was a really good first boyfriend. And then he became really unappealing to me, certainly once Jess showed up and he started being really creepy and possessive and clingy and like
clenching his jaw all the time.
And showing up wherever Rory was, basically waiting for her to get out of things. He'd be waiting there to make sure she didn't have a moment unsupervised.
Right.
And they were teenagers, I understand. I'll allow him some wiggle room to be terrible, but I just always felt like he was holding her back. He ended up but then dropped out of Southern, which is where everyone from my high school went.
Oh, that's
who didn't
weird.
go to like an out-of-state school.
Oh, look at that.
But I think he didn't finish because then he comes back to be a townie.
He actually went?
I think he went very briefly.
Because I remember she was like, "You're smart. You can do this." And he was like, "I can't, Rory." But I guess then he applied.
He did apply and he got accepted. And I think he did go.
And it was because of her.
Right. She loves a fixer-upper, that Rory. But and then the whole Lindsay plotline was just
that was awful.
Terrible. It was 100% believable that he would fall in love with a simple local girl. Great. It really upsets me that that's how Rory lost her virginity.
I know. That was just, I don't know what the writers were thinking.
That was season 6.
Was it that late? No.
5? Season 5?
It was when she was in college. Right, she came back one day.
She had just started college, I feel like.
It couldn't have been season 6. What were they doing the other seasons?
Well, she was in high school definitely through season 4. Man.
Well,
Spoiler.
it happened.
Yeah, it happened.
It happened regardless.
But yeah.
And then there's that scene where she sees Lindsay in the grocery store and she's trying to buy all the ingredients to make Dean his favorite dinner, which is like a pot roast or something, because they've been growing apart. And I think it's supposed to make you not like Lindsay, the viewer.
It did not have that effect on me at all.
I didn't. I was sympathizing with her.
I felt for her.
I was like, wow, I hope Rory feels bad and I hope Dean feels worse.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a really terrible. I understand that was on a trajectory where they're trying to point out that Rory is not actually a perfect human being.
Right.
And I appreciated that effort because she did seem unrealistically perfect for most of the show. But
yeah,
the way she went about it.
It was not good. I just feel like that was also out of character for Rory in a lot of ways.
Cheating,
sleeping
with a married man. I know, but I don't think she saw him as a married man because it was her Dean. She always felt like she laid claim to Dean.
True.
I feel like.
Ugh.
Because he was all about the Rory. How did you feel about the fact that every dude loved Rory so much?
I hated it.
Like Christian, for example. How did you feel about Christian? Chad Michael Murray.
Oh. Well, first of all, I loved Chad Michael Murray at that point.
Back in the day.
Because I had awful taste. And
no, I think I loved him too. I think back then.
Yeah, but then I rewatched it and I was like, ugh.
Well, yeah, now because it's tainted.
I just feel like in the real world, he would have been just making fun of her, and there would have been no underlying, oh, I like you kind of thing. You know?
Yeah. I guess. That's
true.
I
guess Rory is cute.
She's beautiful. I call her Alexis Beautiful Dell. She is like one of the most beautiful actresses to me.
I think she's pretty.
I use actress loosely because she's basically not been in anything for the past.
That's true. She is Gilmore Girls.
Years. Except for Mad Men. She was on Mad Men.
I keep forgetting she was on
Did you watch that?
I watched the first 5 episodes of Mad Men ever.
Oh, so no, you didn't see her on Mad Men.
No. Oh. But I saw a gallery that we have on popcrush.com where she's in it.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very sad storyline. But it produced a love union in real life.
That's true. Now there's a baby.
Congratulations, baby beautiful Dell. So that's Dean. Number 3.
Dean.
Dead last.
The worst one.
I actually really enjoyed Christian at first, even though he was also terrible and weirdly possessive of Rory with no claim to her whatsoever.
They're all like that, aren't they?
Yeah. I think I just thought Chad Michael Murray was cute at the time.
Yeah, that's why he got away with it.
Yeah. Before I was like, who's that squinty guy? No, I'm not into him. Although he showed up on Scream Queens as like a terrible rich dude in one episode. And it was actually great to see him.
That's what he plays, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I feel like we're going to agree on all of these.
I think we are.
But there's only 3, so it's hard to.
Yeah, it's hard to. Okay.
So
second?
The second one, I'm going to say Jess.
Yeah, Jess for me too. Even though I also loathe Jess at the same time.
Well, I feel like most people, that's their favorite.
Yeah, Jess is the favorite. I have had so many people come for me on Pop Crush posts saying that I hate Jess so much and they need to hire new writers because we're clearly biased in our hatred for Jess. Wow. It's like a fan club. He has like a fan club.
He does. I mean, and on a very shallow level, Milo Ventimiglia is the hottest of Rory's boyfriends. Yeah. For sure.
Oh, yeah, of course. If I were Rory and I were 16 and Jess walked into my town, I would be like, oh, okay.
Of course.
I would love for this to happen.
His character was completely perfect. It was like engineered to be catnip to any teenage girl.
Exactly. And when I was watching the show originally, I loved Jess. I thought he was perfect for Rory. I thought they were going to ride off into the sunset together. I was like, Dean is the worst, which is still the only...
Still true. Still very true. He's the absolute worst.
It's the only opinion I still have about that. That remains true.
I mean, to me, he's completely perfect. The bad boy who secretly reads...
Right.
Secretly
he's smart.
Sensitive, I guess. Not really. Had almost no emotional intelligence at all. Although he had his moments with Luke when he would point out that Luke was being a big galoot.
Exactly. Yeah, whenever Rory was not around.
How did you feel about Jess's mother? Who became a more prominent charter in later. Like she was apparently a terrible mother who basically got her kid taken away. But then
she was a terrible mother, but then later on she was great. I feel like they were 2 completely different characters.
Had another kid.
She had another kid.
Like, yay. Yeah.
It didn't. Yeah, there was no continuity there for me. Didn't make sense
with the DeLuise brother.
Yeah, that was weird.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess Jess, in theory, was the best. I think they were chemistry-wise the best. Makes sense as they dated in real life. Yeah, and I just felt like his character and also their storyline, which I've kind of rewatched recently, was frustrating to me. Again, in maybe a very realistic high school way of kind of 2 ships, but I just felt like it never fully got off the ground in a way that I ever wanted to see.
Yeah, I mean, he was a terrible... they weren't ever boyfriend-girlfriend either, officially.
They were.
Were they?
Yeah.
He never called her when he said he would. See, here's the thing. I rewatched it last year, and I felt like he was actually really manipulative.
This is what we're saying. Basically, when you're a teenager... He seems like the best boyfriend, just like to Rory. He seemed like the obviously more desirable choice, which he was, no question. But now, as an adult, you're like, oh, he was kind of a terrible boyfriend. He dropped out of school for his Walmart job, and then he couldn't take her to the prom, and got them in a car accident. Just
there were a lot of really bad things. And Lorelai hated him off the bat, and she was completely right in not liking him.
She was completely right. But even she knew, and I think she did say something like, well, this was inevitable. This was going to happen.
Yep.
I am bummed that she didn't lose her virginity to Jess.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder how that would have... I feel like...
Oh, you think it would have like broken her spirit?
I think it would have broken her completely. Okay, which would have made for an interesting Rory, actually.
to have legitimate trauma in her teenage years as opposed to having a completely seamless experience. Yeah, I guess it would.
It would
give her a little more
Would have
texture.
changed the show, the tone a lot.
It's true. It would have been.
Though there was that one
darker.
scene where like he almost forces her.
Oh, with the
Remember?
party?
At the party?
Yeah, that was probably when
I remember when I was watching it, I was just like taken
probably when he lost me forever. So then how did you feel about it when he came back?
I didn't, everyone.
And was again like, you saved me, Rory.
Yeah, that's another thing. Rory saves all these guys. She's so amazing. Her appeal is just endless. And
She's magical.
It lasts forever into their lives.
The transformative love of Rory Gilmore.
I don't know. I mean, I believed him, but I also didn't believe him because I feel like he was just.
I feel like his book's not very good.
Oh, absolutely not.
It's
absolutely
like a terrible Catcher in the Rye for 20-something dudes.
Yeah, it's oh God, I'm sure it's terrible and like overly flowery pose and just hard. Oh, I hate it thinking about it. I wish they would release that. They should
I
write
really
one.
wish they're actually, from a marketing standpoint, fools for not releasing it.
I'm surprised they haven't, especially since he's everyone's favorite.
And Lauren Graham is writing an actual book of essays about her time on Gilmore Girls.
That's
so
true.
This would be a great time for companion pieces, a stocking stuffer for me specifically.
One of my favorite scenes is when Jess and Luke are walking down that bridge. I don't remember what they're talking about, but then Luke just like shoves Jess and he falls into the water.
I never loved either of those characters more than together. I loved them together.
They were great.
And I understand, or I'm guessing, but like I feel like they created April, Luke's illegitimate daughter, because they wanted that. Again, like they realized he was more endearing when he had that sort of paternal thing.
Oh, maybe.
Because
it backfired.
I absolutely loved him with Jess. I also loved the episode where Jess had the black eye and wouldn't, which he was also terrible because he showed up to like the Gilmore dinner with the black eye and wouldn't say why, and
he was so moody. Oh God.
Yeah, he was completely intolerable. But I loved that part of it where he finally told Luke that it was a swan that punched him in the eye with his wing, and then they went on a boat and waited for the intimidating swan.
That was great. Oh wow, I just remember that.
All their doc memories are really good.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, that's Jess. I mean, I think in later years, I feel like I'm a little concerned. I don't really want them to reunite Rory with any of her boyfriends.
Me neither.
For good, at least. But I mean, she can kick the tires all she wants and all. Like, let's bring back each season a different dude. But yeah, I definitely don't want her to end up with Jess. And I feel like a lot of people do.
I'm sure. Yeah, most people do want her to end up with Jess. And I will never understand it. Why would you want to end up with someone that you were with when you were 16 anyway?
I know, but a lot of people marry their high school sweethearts.
Yeah, but should you?
And this is a thing because I read an article about it, so end of story, it's a real thing. I've read that there's a thing where people have been reuniting with their high school sweethearts via Facebook. Like they'll be married to someone else and then they get divorced and then they reconnect with their high school sweetheart on Facebook and then they end up getting together with them. And
what?
To usually to happy ending, I guess. I can't.
I wonder how many times that's actually happened.
My high school boyfriend was an absolute garbage person, so it's like impossible for me to imagine. But
yeah, I didn't have one, so I believe it.
You really missed out on some emotional abuse from my experience. But I'm sure other people have very rosy experiences in high school. But yeah, I mean,
I would just hope that Rory has grown enough as a person to not want to go back to being 16 and being with Jess again.
Yeah. What do you think Jess's job is now?
Oh God, he's probably, I want to say teacher. Like an English teacher somewhere.
Probably an English teacher. Or he works with like at-risk youth.
Ugh.
I don't know.
I hope not. I hope it's something
by at-risk. I mean
field.
Like a very mopey white dude who's set to live in Connecticut. Very low bar of at-risk. At-risk for dropping out for
just
Walmart.
Mentoring himself.
Yeah, but
I could see that.
Risk. But,
or he's a poet or something.
Yeah, true.
He has like a loft in Williamsburg.
I feel like also I'm a little concerned, sidebar, I'm a little concerned from those pictures that came out that you can see on popcrush.com of the early production stills from Gilmore Girls seasons that show Rory in a classroom talking to students. Not because teaching is an ignoble profession. It's a wonderful and probably one of the most important professions you can possibly have.
Right. Pay teachers more.
Yeah. Seriously, pay teachers more. But it's not what I saw for Rory. Obviously, we saw her leaving to go work on the Obama campaign.
Right.
And I would like to see her. I mean, granted, again, with the realism, many people, what did I want to be? A fashion designer at one point? I just feel like there's a lot of things that I wanted to be, and then I did it for 2 seconds. I was like, oh God, no. So she could have feasibly decided she wanted to work in a different realm. I just hope she's not. It would, again, feel like backsliding if she was a teacher at Chilton or something.
Yeah, and in that specific photo, aren't all the students dressed like they're at Chilton?
Yeah, it looks pretty Chilton.
So she would be winding up back in Stars Hollow when she was supposed to be like the great hope of the town to go off and do amazing things. And
right.
Yeah, it would be disappointing.
And especially after how they did Lane.
Ugh.
It's just such an insult.
I know. I really hope they did something for her. Like they completely revamped her storyline.
I don't see how that's
I don't know how they could.
Okay, so that leaves Logan. This is going to be an unpopular choice for our favorite.
So unpopular.
Like, no one's going to like
Dean
it.
Dean is more popular than Logan somehow.
That's absurd.
Even Dean.
That's absurd.
With his terrible 90s like haircut. Oh, God. So Logan's the best one.
Logan's the best one. Logan's my fave.
Which is funny because when I first watched it, I hated Logan. I hated him because he was the rich guy who used his money to solve everyone's problems.
Yeah, and he was pretty obnoxious
He was at first.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how they painted
and
him.
his friends were the worst. I don't know why they're even bringing Finn back for 2 seconds. Like, don't bring Finn back.
Wasn't he barely even in the show?
I mean, he was like
not enough
definitely
for
his
me
like
to remember.
Second in command guy.
Yeah.
But I definitely was never like, what happened to Finn though? Never thought that.
Yeah, when you told me he was coming back, I was like, who?
Yeah, it might be for like a scene. That's the thing. Every single person is coming back.
Yeah.
So, wait, is there anyone who's not coming back?
At this point?
I feel like there's almost no one who's not coming back. So at this point, since there's only 4 90-minute movies, there's going to be certain people who literally just roll through on a Segway. Like, there just won't be time to have the time you want. Not that like, Gypsy got 20-minute scenes or anything. I just feel like we're really packing it in here. That said, I was really mad. Yeah, so I think we've talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you as a teenager watching it.
Yes.
Hated him, but then now you think that he has like adult aspects of an adult relationship. Like she learned to be an adult girlfriend with him. And
yeah,
he's responsible.
He's very responsible.
Helps her with her career to a point. I mean, the Mitchum stuff is messy, but
also helps her loosen up.
Helps her loosen up. You jump, I jump, Jack. Sorry, I love it. I'm a sucker for it. I was already basically an adult when they got together, and I think I'm like a little inured to the preppy rich dude stuff from having gone to high school in Connecticut. I lived on the wrong side of the tracks. That means apartments instead of houses. It was not hard scrabble, but I definitely, growing up in the East Coast and growing up in Connecticut, knew a lot of people like that and did not see half of them as villains.
Right.
And so I like Matt Zuckery. I think that's how you say his last name.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I wouldn't even
Someone
try.
tell us. It's not Chatri. Okay.
That's how I thought it was pronounced actually.
But yeah, I really, really loved their storyline, and it really bothered me that he gave her this marriage ultimatum.
Yeah.
And the public proposal, again, none of it felt in character for either
never
one of them.
do that.
Knowing who she is.
Exactly.
He would never publicly put her on the spot like that.
Yeah. And then he just like recedes into the trees and it's over and they never see each other again.
They never see each other again.
That's it. And she's okay with it. That's the other thing. Rory doesn't seem to be that
doesn't even
torn
come up.
Yeah.
Right. That makes no sense to me.
It doesn't.
And it also makes no sense to me that someone who she had to twist his arm to even be boyfriend and girlfriend because he's never even had a relationship would be like, well, better lock it down forever. Let's not even think twice about it. None of it made sense to me. I definitely wrote fanfic in my head that had them.
In your head. I was going to say whip it out right now.
On my Tumblr. No, I wrote fanfic in my head that they met at some sort of Yale event in New York like 2 years later.
Yeah.
And dated.
So are you hoping that they get back together?
Secretly, yes.
Oh, no.
They're not going to. They're definitely not going to.
I don't know. You never know. They might
like
pull a fast one on it. No, they won't do that. They can't.
I mean, I don't need either Lorelai or Rory to end up with anyone in the revival. But if I could pick, it would be Logan.
It would be Logan.
Sorry.
Yeah, I just hope that doesn't happen at all. I don't want it to happen. I like Logan. I just want him like elsewhere, and I want Rory to be on her own and be happy alone. That's what I want.
What do you think Logan is doing now?
He's probably on a yacht somewhere.
Oh, but right now? Yeah, right. Literally right now. Yeah. He's on like. I think he probably took over from Mitchum and he's publishing in the thriving newspaper business. A lot of money to be had there.
Oh my God, I forgot.
I feel like he probably owns some sort of, well, this isn't even really economically viable anymore, but like some sort of like FHM Maxim type Thrillist. He probably like owns Thrillist media.
That's true.
I could definitely see that.
Helped bring it into the new age, changed everything.
Mm-hmm. Big.
The young voice for it, yeah.
Big digital maven. Yeah, I feel like
I could see that.
He's doing something like that. And then what do you think that Dean is doing?
So you're still at
Contractor.
Dosey's. Oh.
Yeah. Splitting time between Dosey's and contracting, which again is great, but I don't want to see him doing
Packing
it. He
groceries.
can do it somewhere else. Yeah.
Maybe dead. I don't know. There could be so many. Did they have kids? No. Maybe. Did they get divorced?
Yeah.
No. Oh, they did.
They got divorced because
maybe he remarried.
Oh, he definitely remarried. Yeah. He has kids by now, for sure.
That would be interesting.
I feel like she's going to run into him and he's going to be like, oh,
here's my 7 children.
Right. Like so many children. Yeah. And she'll be really overwhelmed. Because I think, again, Rory cannot conceive that anyone would ever move on
from her.
From Rory Gilmore.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you hate Rory?
I did not hate Rory at all, actually. And in rewatching some recently, I only like her more. I feel like I didn't think she was a great actress back when I first watched it. And now when I watch it, especially given that it was one of her first acting jobs ever and acting opposite the force that is Lauren Graham, she did a pretty damn good job.
She did. I really liked Rory a lot.
But, and then what do you think that Marty, I bet Marty is really rich right now. Marty's like the most successful one of all of them. She's going to meet him also and be like, damn it.
I really liked Marty. Then I rewatched it and I was like, he's such a nice guy.
He was a wet blanket.
You know, and he's kind of the worst. But at the time I was like, oh, he seems sweet. Like he's so nice.
I'll mix metaphors. He was a wet blanket and a doormat. Both at once.
He was.
A wet doormat.
But it made me sad, especially when they're all at the Chinese restaurant and he can't afford it.
I did appreciate that scene and I found that very relatable.
Yeah.
The class difference scene from college was
very
real.
Like the only one.
Although no one at my college was being like, let's go to $100 plate dinner.
Oh, me neither. Yeah. That was probably more my high school.
Yeah. It never happened. But I did. I felt for Marty, but I hope he's doing well. I don't need to see him again ever.
I hope he comes back.
I don't know.
I want him to now I want him to come back. That's the one I'm hoping for.
All right.
Marty and Rory.
Marty and Maury. Marori. All right. We ranked it.
We did. We're right.
Well, let us know what your ranking is. I have a feeling it will not match ours.
No, it'll probably go Jess as the top.
Jess,
then
Dean, Logan.
Marty, then Logan.
No, yeah, Marty doesn't count. Rory never dated anyone else.
No, she didn't. Oh, actually, the one scene I really also loved was when she's in the laundry room. She's doing her laundry, and she finally gets up the courage to ask a guy out, basically. And he's just like, I'm not interested.
I forgot about that.
I love that scene.
The one time she felt the sting of rejection.
Yes, that was great.
Yeah.
That was very relatable.
It's very relatable. Happens to all of us.
Exactly.
Sometimes you just got to
I wish
bite it.
There had been more of those, but I guess it would have made for a weird show.
Just constant laundry room rejections for Rory. Yep. Well, we might do Lorelai next.
Yeah, that'll be a 7-hour-long podcast episode.
All right. Well, let us know and follow us on Twitter, popcrush.com, subscribe on iTunes and
Instagram,
Snap. We are on Instagram. We are on Snapchat.
At popcrush snap.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, I know. That's it.
That's
Thanks.
it.